increase. So we have hyperinflation coming just a little bit. I sound like an infomercial, but I told Matt this, 10 people, that's $200. 100 people matching me with a $20 donation. That's $2,000. I think we can get at least 1,000. I have faith in our activist friends because I've watched Matthew over the last couple of years do all the work he's done. He's weighed in and helped out, talk about different issues. He's documenting some stuff that's important in his area. Um, justice for Anthony and everything between, putting stickers out, doxing and documenting people that are questionable in the community. It's public safety is his middle name, so why can't we help out with some public safety for Roger and Matthew?
Exactly.
Snowball.
Exactly. For somebody who's sticking their time, their effort, and like their life on the line for this movement, like to just sit here and drown in this whole situation, it hurts. So I mean, like any help that anyone can offer would be appreciated. I'm not forcing anybody to help me. This is not what that is. And I know people talk about grifting off each other in the movement, and this isn't that what that is either. This is simply helping somebody out that is facing a humanitarian crisis. Simply,
Yep.
Clear cut.
Yep, and I know that, and I see that, and it gives me anxieties. But I have faith in people, as I said before. I have faith in the movement. I have faith in our activists, and I know we could spread this down south to Louisville, to some of my friends that I know there, the Minnesota area, the Milwaukee area, Portland, Seattle, Western Canada. I mean, we can pull together and get this done for Matthew. I don't mean to pressure you, Matthew, but when do you have to be out of there? Once the D-Day?
February 15th.
February 15th. So we're 1 day removed from having 30 days in getting Matthew fully situated in another place. That worries me. That's not a lot of time.
Like any of the money donations I get, like I'm probably gonna use to like feed myself and make sure that like we have like the supplies we need, like trash bags and stuff like that around the house. Like it's not gonna go to like personal crap. Like it's gonna go to real stuff that's gonna help with the house out. Because because it is right now, like we're struggling between the two of us trying to figure out how like we're gonna pay for everything, all the bills we have, all the bills are stacking up. Then on top of that, like we have things around the house we have to get, like normal households have to get like trash bags to be able to maintain their trash. And because we have a roach problem, we get raid. So the raid helps eliminate the infestation a little bit. So I mean,
but like Dora was saying,
I'm not a person. I would definitely use it to help sustain myself and Roger and Snowball.
Yep. Because our first goal is to get your rent covered, or one of the goals in there in between is to get your rent covered and find a place. That's my next question to you. Are there any places available?
We're actually not sure. I've been planning to have a discussion with Roger about like the avenues that we're gonna take. But lately, his health has been so diminishing that it's been kind of hard to even get him to like stay up and like hold conversation. So I think that's another thing that kind of worries me is I know that we just like dealt with this respiratory illness and like we're still going through it. I kind of got over it, but Roger being like someone who's more than twice my age, it's gonna be something that's probably gonna linger with him for a while. So I mean, I'm like fighting an uphill battle to try and find a way out of this situation, but I'm still gonna keep walking up the hill. I'm not gonna stop.
Yep, just pace yourself and make sure you yeah, just spread the word, everybody. I'm gonna put $20 in, I don't know, in a couple of days or something, as soon as I get
Imagine this situation.
Matt's PayPal.
Imagine this situation. Imagine, like, you live with your grandmother and it's just you, and then your grandmother dies. Like, that's the type of situation I'm in right now. Like
Yeah,
it's really it's tough.
you just lost an elder. You just lost an elder. From what I'm hearing from you spiritually, it's just like losing a family
I
member.
mean,
And
that's
then we have a landlord. Oh, I feel for your losses. Now bam, you have a 30-day eviction notice.
I don't know. The weird thing is like a
Oh,
day after June, raised the rent like $200, 250, and I don't know if that's inflation trying to adjust to, or if he's just being greedy. I couldn't get it.
it's one or both, because basically the hyperinflation that I mentioned affects everything from beer sales to rental costs. There's a I don't know, some kind of scale or ratio that's out there, like in cities. So when there's a demand times where you are in your area times the factors of your landlord, maybe they found somebody else. I don't know, but nonetheless, you have 29 days to find another place. And the goal is, if it was me, I would try to find a place that has a lease where you can sign it and then give maybe post dated checks. But I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah.
But if you have a lease, it's not likely that they will attempt to do this kind of shit, because it's not fair. Like
And
Dora said, this is a human rights issue. Basically giving you 30 days and then throwing you two on the street and snowball like that. It's a human rights violation. We'll get into that later with the legalities. Like Dora said, get a lawyer. But either way, we're going to hit this two prong, right? We'll check out the legal system, but at the same time, we'll have a challenge here for our activist friend Matthew, who works really hard in documenting information and getting it out there to people. And
I,
he's very passionate for other people. It's time for us to be passionate for him. And I
I joined
challenge
this
everybody in the movement. Sorry, go ahead.
I joined this movement in 2020 because I wanted to make a difference in this world, because I was brought up knowing that everything's messed up and that I can see proof of it messed up, and I never felt like I had the power to change it until this movement came around. That's when I felt like, crap, if I have the power, everybody else has the power. So I mean, like, that's what really made me want to like get into activism, is seeing how screwed up this world is and wanting to change it, because I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't think anybody else wants to live like this anymore. And if I ever have kids, I don't want to bring them up into this type of environment. Like, it's not right. Like, we should be helping each other out instead of trying to one up each other. This we all have to coexist on this earth together. So why can't we just be together?
Yeah, what's up with the separatism? What's up with the left-right politics? I've never heard elders ever talk like this, where, oh, okay, you're on a political side, you go over there, or you're on a political side, you go over there, or that person is non-indigenous, we don't need to help them, or that person's my family, we're gonna help them. No, I've never ever heard my elders say that. We help everybody out. When somebody is in distress, out in the boat, stuck out in the fucking ocean, what happens? The Coast Guard comes and rescues them.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does Matt have to be stranded out on a boat for somebody to help him? No. And same with Roger. Like, think of that in a visionary way. Like, he is, like, you're literally stuck out on a boat waiting to be rescued. And we have to get out there and rescue you, right?
Yeah.
And I heard this stuff from Carl Moore. Tez is joining us. Thanks for joining us, Tez. Cortez Rice. This is the chance I have here right now. Frank Nitti. Sol Luna. Rosa, we've got tons of activists out there. Malcontent Tango, people in Louisville, Jared Wright, like Corey Elijah, up in Minnesota, I believe. See, now I'm starting to get challenged. But I know there's tons of activists and there's lots of change. And Matthew is no different than any of our activists demanding change. And that's what we're here for, is to talk about this. And I don't want to leave any of my comrades out there hanging. If any of you are struggling like this, I would hope that we could help each other out. And I want to prove that mutual aid works, because I've seen it work. I've seen it work over and over and over again. So I don't see why it can't work in this situation.
Community mutual aid will always work better than government mutual aid. Put that right in front of it.
Yeah, put that. You can bring that to the bank, Matt. You're right. I mean, I give the government credit where they deserve it, which isn't much, but they do try, I think. But I think we can do a better job as government and as people. Mutual aid, I see it happening, man. I watched the Portland protests, and they had food tents there, and guess who took that down? The police. And right wingers would try to destroy stuff, and I don't want to get into that politics. I'll stop right there.
Yeah,
but anybody that is against mutual aid is seriously effed. I don't understand that. But let's not get into it. Carl Gore does a thing every week. Him and some of his comrades there in Salt Lake City. Hey, Dora.
Being in this
That's entirely too long to get back to.
It's okay. We're worried about your safety and whether you're okay or the internet cut out. One of the three.
It dipped out, and then all of a sudden he was still live. I just got dipped out, and I'm sitting here like, well, I can't send the request. Why can't I communicate?
Yeah, we'll figure out the technology at some point.
I don't know.
It made me think, guys. It made me think the other night. I had a weird thought in my brain that just came into my head before I went to sleep the other night. You know what that thought was?
Yeah.
I want to make it say, is this the America everyone wants to live in? Will we all step on each other to get to the top? Or do we want to live in a country where we help each other to get to the top? Because that's really what I want. I want to live in a nation where we all help each other instead of like step on each other to try and get things done. Because that's all we've ever built in this nation is stepping on each other, one-upping each other to reach success. Everybody can do it, and everybody can have.
Yeah. I want to live in Sweden too.
Because equality won't be attained without it.
Exactly.
If we don't grease the wheels, same up here in Canada, then what the hell are we doing here? Like, is that what destiny is in capitalism? Is to step on our brothers and sisters and people of choice to get where we need to go to sustain ourselves? Like, is that where humanity has come to? Like, it makes me depressed if the answer is yes.
Yeah, like I wish people would treat the homeless with more respect. I mean, like literally, you don't know what happened to them to where like they ended up in that situation. So you can't always judge that it's drugs or something.
Yeah, well, exactly. We don't know what their story is, and it's a real person. It's not a spirit, and the spirit's within that person.
And even
they have a story, and can we help them instead of judging them?
Even if it is drugs, sometimes people take them drugs because they feel like nobody cares about them, so they have to numb themselves from the world, and that's why a lot of people fall into addiction. It's because they feel like nobody cares, and I mean it's pretty evident that that their feeling is represented in the community with the way the homeless are treated. So I mean,
well, Rosa nailed the tail on the donkey when she said people disconnect when they're out there, and it's true. Because it's like you're trying to struggle with reality, and everything you're taught is not there, and people don't care like we thought they did. And I want to bring that back. And I know you both care, and I know everybody cares. So, like I said, if you can help out with the $20 challenge, I challenge you to help out. If you can't, that's okay too.
Mm-hmm.
Just spread the word, and we can find 1,000 people. I know we can. And you'd be okay for a few months. Go ahead, Dora.
If you can help out, that would be appreciated because we'll do the same for you when you're in that situation. That's the type of people we are.
By the way, scroll back to your original comment where you posted the trio of your links. Hold down on the comment. It should pop up a menu. One of them should be pinned.
Got it.
There it is. Perfect.
Right.
Bam. All right, ladies and germs. For those of you that actually have the monetaries, there's his various links. We're at least sure of the first two.
No, I checked the third one.
Yeah.
One's active.
Go ahead and share these guys out. Get it out as many places as we can. Trying to get Mr. Man set up here. If nothing else, we'll be making sure that he's got his travel expenses covered. Because come hell or high water, if we got to house him ourselves on the other half of the freaking continent, we'll do so.
Wherever he's got to go, if he's willing to go there, like I want to make sure that number one,
Michelle, James, and I, all three have offered the same.
It's great.
I want to try to stay local because there's a lot of stuff in the out here that I feel like it would really hurt if I just dropped and like move somewhere else because like I already have an established thing. Like I'm starting to like, get more involved with like the rainbow party out here. Like someone suggested the president to me and said that you might want to talk to her about joining because you guys have the same type of ideals. So I mean, with my activism work anyway, I'd love to stay local and be able to continue doing what I do.
So what it comes down to is your safety.
I know.
Yeah.
But it also comes
and worst case scenario.
Yeah, worst case scenario, exactly.
Let's say we have to maneuver you to elsewhere temporarily. Once we get all of our bells and whistles lined up and ducks in a row, and we got ourselves set up with what we've all been talking about for a minute, we just ship your ass back where you want to go. When you're done covering the story, we'll ship you home.
Yeah. And
you always got a home.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like Matt Ballard says, you're safe. And that's what we got to do, right? You know, like it's I don't know. I can't do much up here in Canada, but I appreciate people stepping up and offering their help to
across the world could do this for everyone that ends up unhoused. We wouldn't have many unhoused people.
Yep.
We got people that could survive and not have to worry about struggling to make ends meet every day of their lives.
A fun statistic for those who are interested, not counting apartments, duplexes, etc. We're talking regular ass houses with a yard. There are literally enough empty houses in this country right now to give every single person in this country 5 man, woman, child, every last one of them.
And it's so true.
5 houses.
I mean,
5 houses per person.
I mean, you relate that to like what people do.
There's 5 times the number of empty houses in this country right now than there are people.
You're basically thinking there's a billion houses.
Some people like to do for fun, explore abandoned buildings. And you know how many abandoned buildings there are in this country? Tons. Like those could be.
There's entire freaking YouTube channels dedicated to just that.
And what would it take to bring all these houses up to code? Make them livable.
Guy who built these shacks in Los Angeles for the unhoused.
Like, I'm talking ready to live in today. You might have to do a little bit of dusting because it's been empty for a minute. But we're talking up to code, functional, ready to go houses. Like, if I were a broker, I could sell it tomorrow. House. Like, and the best part about it is the fact that it literally comes down to the banks and the landlords, because they're the people hoarding all of it. You know how many banks are willing to leave a house off the market because it's cheaper to just let it collect freaking fees than it is to actually try and market the damn thing to sell it?
I can imagine.
It's cheaper to just pay the tax on it and keep it in the bank than it is to actually pay to advertise and sell it.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
That second one in the pin, I forgot in the comment that I pinned for all my financials. The first one's Cash App. The second one is PayPal. I forgot to put PayPal.
Or
Got Cash App on there twice. I see that.
Cash App by accident. It's all good. But,
It's all good.
you can always correct things. That's what I
Yep.
like about resolution.
Post edit. Post edits are great. Yeah. No, and that's what I was saying earlier about that notice, is that notice don't look legal. Freaking, like, none of this is legal, and he's banking on the fact that you ain't gonna do shit. You just gonna be like, okay, and
he
go.
thinks I'm just
Fuck
gonna give it,
that.
take it.
Fuck that.
Oh,
No.
Blow the roof off the place. Take it over to the freaking to the HOA. Take it to the freaking courts. Go to them yourself. Don't wait for him to come at you. Go to them. I'm not gonna say step one, get into a lawyer ASAP in the morning.
Yep. Challenge the system, because he's banking on what Dora said,
Mm-hmm.
that you're not going to do anything. You're just going to chew on what he gave you and walk off into the sunset. No. Your human rights have been violated, and we can find it within the law that has occurred.
well, so with my financials, if you can't read them in the chat, they're actually in the post for the live stream. Like if you-
Yeah. Or indeed.
Okay.
so I
Like I
make
said,
sure that in the chat and the actual post itself, so people will see them.
so I've got some thresholds too. I challenge everybody to donate 20 American dollars. If we reach 1,000 people, I'll throw another 20 down, and we'll see where that goes. And I know this is going to work because I've seen it work. I've said this before. I'll say it 300 times. Mutual aid works. It's been done in many different cities. Many different activists have done it. So I don't see why we can't help out Matthew and Roger and Snowball in
Should have been
this
doing
instance.
2020 instead of trying to rely on the Black Lives Matter organization to fund everybody, because we knew that it wasn't always going to work out the way we thought it would be. That's why when community donates to community, you know where the money's going, and you know it's going to be going to what it says it's going. But when you put it into the hands of an organization, you're not exactly sure what will happen with those financials. You have to make people like untrustworthy of organizations, which is understandable.
Yep.
Some organizations are actually really cool and actually do what they say, and then some out there that really just grift stuff to people.
Yeah, funny you say that. I run a soccer team called the Coffette Braves. I sell replica jerseys and also pullovers. And the only part that doesn't go toward the cause, which is, more jerseys for the team, entry fees for it's a soccer team, stuff like that. The only cost that's on the overhead is the printing and the cost of the material itself, right? Every penny is spent on the soccer team. I got receipts to reflect it. I even put my own money into stuff when we're a little bit short to make sure that we make the ends meet. So checks and, like, we can get into that too if you want. Checks and balances should be there. I recommend that if you're going to help out organizations, that you check on that, right? And I'm not going to ask for receipts from you, Matt. I already know. I already trust you. I just want to see the thumbs up and you're in a place and you're safe and you got the trash bags or whatever you need to situate yourself. I have faith in you getting there. I just want to challenge everybody.
I wouldn't
to
wish this on anyone, not even my worst enemy, not even the other side that we fight against. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. The situation I'm in, like, it's so hard to handle. It doesn't matter who you are, what race you are, what culture you are. Homelessness is exactly the same from person to person to person, and it's all a bunch of pain.
It is. And if we could somehow, I don't know, readjust the government, and if there's these up to code, ready to move in homes that have a little bit of dusting to do, then we have a job to do. We have to.
And more being built by the day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The supply and demand is there. So I don't know why there's so many people that are homeless in our communities or houseless and are struggling with keeping jobs and getting affordable education. And I mean, I'm just playing on the same fiddle song I played before.
I might
The food sources.
something I've thought about for a long time. I think the reason why the homelessness rate is spiking all across the country is because people are putting their trust in city council instead of their own community. It's all good.
I mean, I could actually explain it all, but it's going to take a minute, and I think it's something a little more well suited for some show.
Yeah.
Hashtag shameless self promotion.
I mean, I know we're taught to
And
like.
now for our not corporate sponsor.
I know we're taught to rely on like our local politicians and
Generically.
our for like these types of issues, but it's proven time and time again that they don't always follow through with what they say, and then people end up on the streets. So I mean, to cut down on like homelessness, community being there for each other would totally change the script. Really.
It's a political ideology. You both know that
Yeah.
certain people on one political side, they kind of believe in mutual aid. I don't know. I'm still waiting for them to say what they said or to do what they said. Because in the indigenous communities, we go by that. We don't go by what you say. We see what you do. Your actions speak louder than any words that you say in a talking head sense. That's why I challenge everybody, and I challenge politicians to stop lying. Sorry to say, people shouldn't be houseless in your community if you're a leader.
Right?
If you're a political leader watching right now, you should be putting efforts on stemming human issues, regardless of your political stance.
Exactly.
Regardless, whether you're a Republican, liberal, or independent, it should be the same game plan. And the game plan is stemming human suffering. Who cares about humans? Who doesn't care about humans? Like Dora talks about this all the time. This is where Dora's going to step in now. Like who cares about humans and who doesn't? Can you tell? Can you guess which one? I say neither, but
There is the reality of it is there ain't no parties. There's the parties we follow, but when you get them all in one room, they're all one club.
And you're not in it.
There's two groups. There is a division line, but it's not left and right. It's have and have not. And most of us are have not. Not to ring the bell of the old Occupy, but it's about the 0.1%. Slight paraphrasing, but it's about them. You want to know where all the problems come from? Look at who created the systems. Look at the stuff that they said about the very systems they created. They weren't even hiding it back then. Anthony Carnegie, our education system, is designed to make us a bunch of dumb idiots that can push a button. And I quote, I do not want a well-educated people who are capable of critically thinking for themselves. What I want is a group of laborers smart enough to push the button, but dumb enough not to ask questions. And I should say, I'm slightly paraphrasing because I don't know the exact wording, but like he flat out said it. The man who designed our education system, it's designed to make us dumber by the generation. You ever notice that that's a thing? Each generation keeps getting stupider. There's a reason. There's nothing wrong with the system. We don't need to fix the system. It works just fine. Well, it's doing exactly what it was designed to do. What we need is a different system.
That works for everybody.
It's already approved.
That's what I meant. The system works, yeah, for certain people, but does it work in the sense of equality and definition? Does
Well,
it?
no. It never was supposed to.
Does it show any human rights or care for the
Never
for
meant
the
to.
average human being? Yeah, it never meant to. And that's the whole issue there. I can't think of the stats right now, but 85%.
I feel like Ben Franklin and his friends kind of wanted it to be, but it just kind of never happened.
Yeah, 85% of the wealth is owned by 1/5 of your people in your country, and it's climbing in Canada.
Globally speaking, 98% of the wealth is 0.01% of the population of the world.
So there's
98% of the money belongs to 0.01%. Not even 1% anymore, guys. It ain't the 99% no more. It's the 99.98%. Wow. Like 99%. Like it's gotten that bad. The fact that there are billionaires is reprehensible.
That makes you think what the age ranges are of all these people that run it. Like they're all, they have to be all like elderly.
They're mostly old money. Who was it? Rupert Murdoch, I believe, former, if not current, owner of Fox, right? Recently said something. He said, we need to dramatically change the entire global system. And I say this because any system that allows someone to accrue the amount of money I have the way I have is seriously fucked and will destroy humanity.
Sounds about right.
He gave no apologies about it. He just point blank said there's something wrong. I should not be as rich as I am. I ain't giving any of the money back, but I should not be this rich. You're doing it wrong, people. How bad is it when the people who are at the top are literally looking at us and going, are you going to overthrow us or not?
Right.
They're challenging us at this point.
Well, it's pretty much all of us are in a vice. 99% of us are in a vice, while the 0.1% is watching us get squished.
It all comes to a simple concept. Most people are not going to step up and do something because they're so afraid of losing what little they have. They don't want to risk. They're not pacified. They're broken.
Well, pacified. Broken.
They know what's wrong. Like, the people ain't dumb no more. Yeah, they're still infighting, but for the most part, both sides, everybody knows what's wrong.
It's like,
and the problem is, are you willing to take the loss of paycheck and ability to feed your children in order to join a strike? Because you ain't getting paid while you're on strike.
The government knows exactly what it's doing.
They ain't going to do it. You control the money, you control the food,
I mean, like
you control the mass.
You equate it to animal abuse, right? Say, for example, this guy owns a dog and he abuses his dog every day, right? Well, the dog's going to come back every time because that's the only person he knows in his life is his owner. Even though the owner treats him like absolute dog crap, the dog's going to come back every time. And that's exactly what the government does. It realizes that they're going to put out just a tiny bit to be able to help us. but then they're going to screw us with everything else. But that tiny bit is going to smooth it over and make us come back every time.
Regardless of the forecast.
Nathaniel Rothschild, 1629. If I control a nation's finances, I care not who makes its laws. I can't remember who it was, but this one was said in the 1820s. It's not. It was, if I control a masses' foods, I care not who issues their money. So the man who issues the money says, as long as I control that, I don't care who makes the rules. And then another man said, as long as I control the food, whoever they want can make the money.
Yeah.
What's that say? They figured it out. You keep us in survival mode, we're going to be too hungry and tired and sick to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, most people are hanging on to the tiniest little shred they got left, no matter how minuscule crumbs are.
And that's why,
Because
that's
the other
why,
option
honestly,
is
that's
face starvation while fighting.
That's like one of the reasons you see so much crime is because the mental health is skyrocketed because of the way the government system works to break down your spirit. So many people are broken down now that they feel like nothing's ever going to change. They're just going crazy.
Yep. And does the government care about mental health?
It's a
Not
fear
really.
propaganda technique. Quite literally.
Just the companies that are in our towns care about human suffering? Not really. If somebody wants a pay raise, like Dora said, they'll find somebody else that'll work for less and not complain, and that's what I meant by pacified. When you're in your lane, you think that's the best you're gonna get, and you stay in your lane. No going back to school. They don't want you to do that, and that's why the education system is expensive. If you want to go to school in certain countries in Europe, for instance, guess what, folks? There's no fees. It's basically free. See those countries that are flourishing? They have that kind of stuff. Yeah, they have high taxes, but it's working for their working class, right? Because they have a different outlook on efficiency, and they care about their human beings a little bit more than our countries. But like I said, the 1/5 of the wealth owned by 1/5 of your people own 86% of the wealth, and it's something like 75% in Canada of the wealth is owned by a fifth of the population. And like Dora said, it's even worse in other countries where there's a working class of 0.1% or 1% if you're lucky, and the rest of the 99% are fighting over the scraps.
Exactly. I mean, like, if you've ever seen the movie The Hunger Games, look at America and tell me how different The Hunger Games is from America or any other country. Like, it's no different.
We just have more press and media to play with.
Like, literally, like,
We got more shiny stuff right now.
like you know, the context of the movie is they're sitting there fighting for, like, weapons and, like, food and everything else. It's just like real life.
Yep. And through all this stuff, through all the weather, and through all the heartache, I still think we can still perform mutual aid. But is the government going to do it? No.
I mean,
Are all the superpower investors going to do it? No.
If I
Are
ever
the companies going to do it? No.
If I ever get to a point in my life where I'm actually situated and can stand on my own 2 feet for more than 2 months, I'll help anybody else that needs it to help get them to that point too. That's the type of person I am.
That's my theory, is if we help out Matt, then he can go back to work at documenting stuff, and wherever you want to go is your power, and I promote that. I bless you and give you good vibes towards that, whatever it may be. There's no judgment from Dave Moon TV. I want you to be sustained rightfully. Same with if Dora had this situation, I would like to do a $20 challenge for Dora or anybody else. If that's what it's here for. I mean, let's do this.
Shoot, if anybody in the Tucson area has got a double wide they want to donate to my buddy's ranch, it'll help us to be able to make sure that Mr. Matthews got a place to back up on.
Or at least a temporary place, right? Like we got to look at the options for Matthew, right? Where's Matthew going to be?
I don't know how many of you guys know the story